you very much again, Laura, for joining us and talking to us about effect. Laura is a full stack software engineer. She's currently working at Inato, where she contributes to making clinical research accessible to all. It's important to her to have a positive impact in the world, especially in healthcare, but she's also an advocate for women in tech, which is a cause close to her heart, as we are. Thank you very much. The floors are yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. So let me share the right screen. Okay, here we are. Perfect. Well then, very happy to be here. A big thank you to Violina and Mirella for the opportunity to talk today. So let's begin, and I'll introduce you to effects. So first of all, obviously, what is effects? So let's quote their official documentation, which is, by the way, clearly amazing. So if you want to know more about effect, this is a very good resource to do so. So here's the definition. So oh wait, I have all your faces on my screen. Okay, let's put in here. Okay. So Effect is a powerful TypeScript library designed to help developers easily create complex synchronous and asynchronous programs. Well, that looks like a pretty nice offer, right? So let's see how that goes. Here you can find some pretty classic function that we could write in our program. So one is to divide some numbers, and another one is to fetch a to-do from an API. Both of them have their flaws because this one could throw. So if b is 0, obviously I want to throw an error and that's it. But if I look at the, oh wait, obviously I'm going to have the demo effect. Wait a minute, sorry, I need to relaunch it. Okay. Okay, it is. So now I can see the signature, and the signature shows me that as a result, I will get only a number. So I have no clue that this might fail, actually. And then the get-to-do method, that's quite the same. So the signature of the response is promise of any, and well, that doesn't say much to me about the fact that this could fail, fetch could fail, and the JSON method over there could fail too. So I could do some try catching. I could try to get around this, but in the end, if I need to use those methods in another part of my app, I could completely forget that those two are failing, and that's pretty problematic. And this is where effects can help. So let's talk first about the core concept of the whole effect ecosystem, which is the effect type. So here it is. This type tells us that an effect can succeed with a value of type success. It can also fail with an error of type error. And then I won't go into much detail about this one in this talk, but it can also represent the dependencies needed to run a program. This is a bit generic, but you could think about it as a function that takes some requirements and then returns either a value of a successful value or an error. But effects are not functions, though. So what are they precisely? Once again, let's go to the official documentation. So the effect type is an immutable description of a workflow or operation that is lazily executed. There are two important keywords over there. So immutable first, because effects values are immutable. And every function that you can find in the effect library will produce a new effect value. So that's the first one. And then lazy. This one means that actually when you create an effect, it won't run immediately. You have to see it as a description of a program that can succeed, fail, have dependency, but that's it. It won't run immediately. This is important. So as we talked about creating effects, well, let's do it. We'll start with some basic constructors, so how to build an effect from a value. So here, the easy one, so the effect that succeed method. So this one is used to create an effect that will always succeed with a given value. If I look at the type here, I can see, if you remember, well, the first type is a success type. So I have a number as a success type. And I can see here, this is supposed to be the error type, and it's never, because it can never fail, it can only succeed. And again, the dependencies, there are none here, so it's never true. Just so you know, you could write it simply like this, because this is completely equivalent, because by default, if you don't specify anything, it will default to never. So it's a little bit more readable this way. And then on the other side of the coin, you have fail. So this one is used to create an effect that will only fail, basically. So here I said, okay, I will build an effect.fail with my error. And if I look at the type, I get never for the success type, because this one can never succeed for sure. But it will always error, actually, with the type error. And then still no dependency. So once again, I can get rid of this one. It's a little bit more readable. And that's it. So those are the easy ones. And if you remember the example I gave you at the beginning, this is the definition of the divide method without effect. And then if I rewrite it with effect, I end up with this. So I can use here a little ternary. So if b is 0, I will use my effect.fail method with my error, saying I cannot divide by 0. And this will actually have a type of effect never. It cannot succeed. It can only error with my error. And then on the other side, if b is not 0, then I can do my division successfully, and I will end up with an effect of number. So on one side, I have an effect of never error, and on the other side, I have an effect of number. And if I look at the type of this one, the whole method, now I have my numbers as an input, but then the result is an effect of number and error. So it was able to compose both of them smartly. And if you look at what we had before, here you have no clue that it can fail, and whereas here you know that it can succeed with a number or fail with this error type. So this is where effect is pretty nice. Now, let's say I want to model synchronous effect. Some have some side effects. So you could tell me, well, that's easy. I could use effect.succeed, and then let's do a simple side effect of doing a console log. Well, here I define my program like this, and you can see that the side effect was already run. And this is not good. This is because succeed is meant to be used to build an effect from a value, not for side effects. If you want to be able to model some synchronous effects, you should use effect.sync. So this one, it's really made for that. Like it represents a synchronous side effect for computation. So I have my side effect here, I have my value here, and you can notice that this time the hello world 2 did not appear over there. And if I want to run it now, wait, I will do this first. I can use run sync. So this one allows me to run my effect now. So now that I will run it, run sync, it's said over there, it will execute the effect synchronously. It will run it immediately. So all the side effects are executed, and then it will return the output value. So here I can also look at the result. And if you look here, this is a number, and I can log it, prove you I'm not saying mistakes. And here it is. I have the 18 appearing over there. So here we are. An important thing, though, is that you may have noticed it here. So you should not use sync if you are sure that the operation, no, you should use sync only if you're sure the operation will not fail. And you can have a look at the type. The type here is explicit. This can only succeed. So you should not use it if it can fail. If it can, then you should use another method, which is try. And this one allows you, so I will use JSON path. This one I know can potentially fail. I give it some nice, like, valid input for now. And you can see here, I log the result. Well, it's any because JSON path return any, but I'm getting the result. And I can also define it like this so that I can remap the error. So if I look at this signature over there, I have any because this is the output of JSON parse, but then I have an unknown exception. So this is a way to tell me, effect is telling me, well, an error could occur. You did not really tell me what to do with it, so I will just put a non-exception. And then with this syntax, I can actually tell him I want to return this specific error when it fails. So now if I look at program 2, I have still any, but then now I have an error that I define myself over there. So that's it for the synchronous part. And now it's specified over there, by the way. It says it should not fail. Well, obviously, you don't want your program to fail. That's pretty obvious. But then also, you should not use run sync for asynchronous work. Otherwise, you would have errors over there. If you need to model asynchronous effect, in this case, you should use effect.promise or another one that I will show you after. So you guessed it, this one is used to define an operation that will never reject. That's why if I look at the type, it's a number because I just use promise to resolve of a number, but it never fails. And if I run it here, so first let's define it. So you see I have a promise of a number. So the result, when I run it with run promise, which is made to run some asynchronous effects, this time I execute the effect and I return the result as a promise. So this one is important. So I see it here that it is a promise, but when I was there, I have no mention of the promise anymore. So effect is kind of hiding this complexity of, is it synchronous, is it asynchronous? Actually, we don't really care. It's an effect. That's it. So you can like completely get rid of this with effect. But then when you run when you use run promise, you would get back a promise. That's when you can actually, and this is where effect is really meant to help you as developers. So their goal is to make you use it and help you. So here, by having this, you don't need to use effect in your whole program. You could use it for a very small part of your app, and then you run your effect using this one. You get a promise, and then you can continue to use your code as it was before. It was potentially a promise-based code, and then this allows you to interface with the effect part of your code. So that's pretty useful. And then I can show you that it's really working fine by logging the result. And here it is, I have my 18. Now, again, this one, as you saw, can never fail. If it can, I should use try promise. Then we go back to the initial example I gave you about fetching from an API. Over here, I'm saying, my fetch call is over there. My program, again, it's any because, again, rest.json is returning a promise of any. So I have effect of any, an unknown exception, that I can remap like this. And then, again, to run it, same thing as before, I use my run promise, and here I am. So it's returning nothing, and because I forgot a little part of it, that's why. But here you are. And if it fails, it will be an error over there because I defined a remapping of the error. Okay, so that's for one part. Now, if we want to build programs, an important part of it, like I showed you how to create and run effects, but something you should keep in mind is that usually the good way to go is to compose effects together. So you build your programs by composing effect together. And at the very end of all this composing part, then you run it. So usually this is how you do it. So now to compose effects, the standard way of doing it is to use pipelines. So I will go quickly over this. I know it can be a pretty obscure concept for people at first. I'm pretty used to it because I've been doing functional programming for a while, but let me give a quick overview of what the pipe method used in effect can look like. So you get an input, and then you are going to make this input pass through a bunch of functions, and at the end you get a result. So I have my input there, then I pass it to the function number 1, I get an output. This output will be given as an input to the next one, and etc. until you reach the very end of the chain, and this would be your result over there. But as I said, I know it can be some pretty obscure concept to explain. There are a lot of methods in effect built around this. But as they want to be as helpful as possible, they created a syntax. They have a syntax available, which are generators, which is meant to kind of replicate. It's very similar to async-await, and this you should be a bit more familiar with. So here I have a little program. So I have over there an effect that is there to fetch a little transaction amount. So it's asynchronous. So I used effect.promise, and I make it always return a promise of that resolve with 100. And then I defined a little apply discount method, kind of similar of the divide method we defined before. So if the discount is 0, I fail because, well, if a discount is 0, it's not super amazing. And then I succeed. If it's not 0, I succeed by subtracting the discount from the total. So to use the generators, you can see it like you could, you have to imagine that effect.gen, which is a way to generate an effect as async. And then every yield you see there would be an await. So in the end here, I'm defining a method where I say, okay, so over there, this is an effect that returns a success value of number. And when I yield it, I'm actually expecting, like waiting for the success value. So here, if I look at amount is a number. Nice. Then next method, I want to apply my discount. So I can use my amount from there. I pass it here. I decide that I want to apply a discount of 5. And then I wait for the value, because if I remove the yield over there, you can see that my final amount is an effect. And this is, well, not great here because I want to only play with the value over here. So I yield it and then I get a number. So I can finally return my final amount. And if I look at the final type of my final amount over there, oh, I'm not going to give the same name, by the way, but still, this would be an effect of number, error, or never. So here, this was effect of number, never, never. This one potentially failed. So in the end, over there, I get the number error. And that's great. If I changed it a little bit, I could actually, I don't know, let's say here, I convert the whole thing. Here, I would just return Toto, even if it's not amazing. Is not happy, sure, because it's not a number anymore. So I return a string. So this one will now return an effect of string. So if I look at my final amount here, now it's indeed finally a string. So he's able to, even if this one was a number initially, he's composing everything and giving a final effect ready to be run at the end. So during the rest of this talk, I'm going to stick with generators, even if, to be honest, at work, I usually often go for pipelines. I actually switch between them. You could use both in your program. You don't have to choose between them. But yeah, let's stick with generators because I thought it would be more easy to understand for this talk. So now let's code a little bit. So I hope you still see my screen. If you don't, please let me know. So for this session, we are going to follow those instructions. So I took back the code of fetching a to-do. We are going to fetch to-dos during this example. And the first step we're going to follow is split the errors. And then I'm going to follow this little plan. So here, I have a get to-do. Okay, so well, it's any. Well, this is not amazing, but we'll come to it later. Any can error, and then no dependency. Okay, now I actually have two possible errors over there. This one could fail, and this one could fail. It would be nice to be able to split those two errors and be able to know when it's a fetch error and when it's a JSON error. I don't know. So let's, actually, I did not write it as a generator just yet. I have a little snippet because the generator syntax is a little bit annoying to type. So I can give it to you if you want. So here it is. So this is my fetch, let's say, I don't know, here. So I have my result, but now I would like to split this actually. So I don't want to do the then right away. I'd rather do it after. So let's do that now. So this one would be the JSON response. response. And again, I need to do again a try promise because again, this operation is asynchronous and can fail. So I would still get the effect try promise. So here it is. And I will do this. No, actually, I just need this one. Okay, are we almost good? So this would be the response. Sorry, I did not use the right names. And then catch, this time a new error of error while JSONing. I don't know, let's use this. Okay. And what's happening now? I have my response, JSON response. This, what's happening over here? Oh, it's an effect, see? Okay, so I did a mistake already. I forgot to yield. So this is an effect. As I just want the value, I can use my little yield, which is similar to await. So now I'm waiting for the success value of this effect, so I get a response. And now I can use it over there. So nice, and now I have my JSON response, and I will return it. Okay, so I have split everything. Now let's have a look at the type. And it's very bad because, again, I forgot the yield over there. Okay. And now let's see it. Okay, so this time we're good. So we have the JSON response with JSON, not amazing, but we'll see that later. And I still have an error over there. Well, not great. So to do that, I'm going to define two types of errors over there. So here is one, and there is another one. Let's say JSON error. Okay, and then I'm going to define them like this, and same here. Do this. Okay, and now if I look at my get to do, oh, all right, because with effect, you need to pass a little tag field so that it's able to properly discriminate each one of your, wait, yes, and even the tag of the other one. Here you are. Okay, and now get to do. Here you are. Now you are able to see within the signature of your method that it could fetch over here with a fetch error or with a JSON error. So you can react accordingly to each one, which is pretty nice. Okay, so this is done. We have split the errors, so this is good. Now, well, you probably like me, so this any is burning your eyes. So let's get rid of it by using the schema module from effect, which is a very nice way to do data validation. So effect has like a very big numbers of modules accessible for you to simplify probably anything you need to solve. So here we want to do data validation. You have the schema module, which is accessible in effect. So I import it up from effect over there. And now I'm going to show you how to define a validation schema. So you have, oh, by the way, I did not tell you, but at the bottom over there in my terminal, I'm running my program. So what is my program doing? I'm getting a to-do. I'm getting the first to-do, pretty simple for now. And then I'm running the program and logging the output. So what you can see here is what this API is giving me. So now let's say we are going to decode those three fields. So let's go. I have an ID. So apparently ID is a number. Okay, well, perfect. Actually, effect is going to give me some primitive to get data validation on this one. Now I will do title also, which would be a string, and completed, which would be a Boolean. And now I can also define a parse to do method. So still from schema, I can use decode unknown, and I will show you what it does right after there. So now I have a parse to do method, which is there to help me from an unknown input, by the way, from an unknown input. What I will get after is an effect of a success value, which is a type that for me would be the type of my to-do. It can fail with a parse error and no dependency. This one, let's ignore it. So now if I use this one over there, I could say, okay, nice. So now my to-do is going to do part JSON from my response over there. And to-do and I yield it. Obviously, I will always forget this one. And to do is now, look at that, a properly type to do, actually. So I return it now. So my get to do method is now an effect with the right type. So I have my 3 properties that I wanted to decode. And I now have 3 errors possible, the fetch error and JSON error from before, but also a parse error. Which is pretty powerful with the schema is that, let's say on purpose, I would like completely I don't know. And then if you look at the error it's returning to me, I now have a precise message telling me completed or this field is missing, which is true. So, and pretty precise. So it's very nice for debugging purposes, for sure. So here you are. We now have the second step completed because I have to do some clear errors. So let's go to the next step now, which is recovering from errors. So here I have my program over there, and with effect, I can do something pretty nice, which is effect.catchAll. So I give to it my program, and then over there, I can get my error and do something with it. So here, if I look at this, you can see that my error can be a parse error, fetch error, a JSON error. So I have all my types of error over there. And then I need to return an effect to say what I want to do with it. Let's say that I will succeed with a message saying recovering from error. And I can even use, I think, a little property from there, but it's tag. Yes, it's tag. So now if I do this, I have no error. So obviously now I'm not showing anything, but if I put back my errors on the schema, see, is able to catch this error at the very, like here, at the end when I'm running my program, and it will now succeed with a recovering sentence. So if I look at my program here, now it can succeed with a string. So that's normal. This is what I defined, but at least which is nice because now, if you look here at the error type, there are no errors anymore. We are good. So now we know that if we run this program, there is no chance that an error could occur, which is, well, pretty amazing, honestly, because now we are guaranteed in a way that no errors can happen. And you also have, if let's say you just want to react on one precise error, you could do it like this. I could say, I just want to react on the fetch error one and react on this one. So now the parse error is making my program fail again. So if I look here, I said I wanted to catch the fetch error type. So now it's missing from the error type over there because it has been handled in a way, but the other ones are still there. I can also use catch tags, which is a way of giving multiple error at once. So I could show you quickly like that. So I do it like this. I have autocomplete, by the way, and then I can react differently depending on what I want to do. So let's say I do nothing here for now. There are going to be issues, but just to show you. Okay, and then you can put all of them in there. So that's it for this. Let me come back a little bit. We want to have a safe program, so let's come back to the catch-all one. Okay, so this is a way to catch error with effects. And finally, no, not finally, actually, we still have some more steps. So retrying, going to remove my error from there. Let's say I want to make sure that if an issue occurs within the getToDo method, I want to be able to retry. So let's build a specific method for that. So I'm going to say it's a getToDo with retry. And for that, we also have another effect method. We have effect method for like quite anything. It's amazing. And then, oh, it needs to be a method though. So ID of number, and it will return. So my retry, I do getToDo of the ID. So, and now I can say, like, let's say I want to retry one time. Okay, I just need to do this. And this is it. I just defined a way to retry my getToDo method. I can use it here. And well, right now you're like, yeah, okay, that's cool, but show me proof. And I will right now. So I'm going to yield effect effect.log. This is a way to log with effect too. There are really stuff for everything. I'm going to say I'm fetching the to-do of this ID. And then I will also put a log at the end to say that I successfully fetched to-do of ID, blah, blah. Okay, so now you can see that effect log actually, I won't go into the details, but the effect log is pretty nice because I can even see when the log was actually triggered. So that's pretty useful. So now I'm going to introduce an error on purpose. So let's say I put back my completed issue. So here you can see that it tried to fetch the to-do and then it retried right away. So that's pretty nice. Well, let me close everything. I did not notice I showed you everything. And then I have other option because times is pretty nice, but I could also do, let's say, while the error, here I have my error types accessible. So until the error dot tag, I don't know, is fetch error. So this means I will retry, but if the error change, I won't retry anymore. And I can also use schedule, I think that is. Yes. And then, well, let me, actually, I don't remember exactly, but what's amazing, I told you that the effect documentation was amazing. So here is a part of it. So in the scheduling section, you have some built-in schedules. So it's another module once again. But then let's say I want to build an exponential retry. I could do it pretty easily like this. So I can do a schedule exponential of 2 seconds. I import schedule, of course. And then if I launch it, it's going to do just that. So it started, so 2 seconds later, then it will be 4 seconds later, and etc. It's like, this is it. If you wanted to code it yourself with that effect, it would be way less easier for sure. So yeah, I think that's a good demonstration of how powerful it can be. So let's come back to, let's come back to very simple retry to avoid spamming my terminal. So here we are with the retry. And now we are going to look at concurrency. So first of all, I'm going to define a get-to-dos method. So this one is going to take an array of number as an input, and then let's do a generator. Okay, so here I'm going to define my to-dos. I have a pretty nice new method again, which is effect.all that allows me to, so I will do ids.map of get to do. So this looks a bit weird. So if I show you what it looks like first, so I will say weird of this. So this is an array of effects. So this was an array. I map it with my get to do method, which is returning an effect. So I end up with an array of effects of to do and etc. Now with effect.all, I can easily transform this into an effect of an array of my success value. This is because effect.all, if I show you the docs here, it's combining multiple effects into what? Into one, sorry. Returning result based on the input structure. So here I give to it an array, so it's giving me back an array. I could have given to it an object or whatever. Anything like this would work. So here I have a pretty easy way to combine everything together. So I get my to-dos over here. I'm pretty happy with it. My result is indeed, and I forgot again the yield. That's why I'm getting effects of effects. Okay, now I should have a proper effect, yes, of a success value, which is an array of to-dos. I can use this over there. Let's say I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for instance. I'm recovering from an error. Yeah, of course, I need to stop this error. Otherwise, okay. So now you can see that I have my logs showing me that I am fetching the to-dos one by one. This is because by default, the effect.all method is applying the array, like it's executing all of this sequentially. By default, this is always like this. So I'm fetching the first to-do, I'm done. I'm fetching the second to-do, I'm done, etc. until the last. And you can see here that my result is indeed fetching all the to-dos. Now, if I want to do something like with concurrency, I can actually pass option to effect.all. I can say concurrency 1. Well, that's quite the same, actually, which it's the default. I could also say concurrency unbounded. So this means that all the to-dos will be fetched at once or at the same time. So this is what's happening. This could still be doable without effects, even if it might be a little bit annoying. But what's even more powerful is that I could do concurrency 3. And then here I have 3 to-dos starting at the same time. Once one is completed, another one is triggered right away, and all of that until the end, until I fetched all of them. And the result is always the same. But I managed concurrency, pretty easily. Let's use the retry. Okay, so we are done with concurrency now. Nice. And the last thing I wanted to show you with the time we have, because I see I'm talking for a long time now, is to format a little bit the to-dos, like play with the to-dos to show you some other nice methods from Effect. So let's say here, I'm going to define a format to-dos, and I'm going to get a to-do as an input, so to-dos even. So, oh, and I did not define. Yes, by the way, an interesting thing is that here I could define my type to do by doing type of to do schema.type. And this is giving the proper type that is decoded by my schema. So now I have a proper to do type ready for me to use. And I will make it play with to-dos a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is to sort my to-dos. So I'm going to sort sorted to-dos, and I will use the array module from effects and use, you have many methods to help you with this, but let's use the sort with for this example. So I give it my to-dos. Then I say, okay, I want to sort on, let's say, the title. So to-do.title, sorry, to-do.title. And then I say to it, what do you mean? It's okay, I will see later what's happening. Not assignable to okay, sort with y. Obviously, demo effect, perfect. But I will continue my demo anyway. So order over there is another module from effect dedicated to help you order stuff, basically. So here, my title, I want to order them. Oh, sorry, it's a minus on the string over there. And then if I return my sorted to-dos here, okay, and then my format to do, I'm going to apply. Here is my get to-dos method. I'm going to return a format to-dos of my to-dos. So now if I look at the result over there, you can see that they are all ordered by title. Maybe I can show you a little bit more there. So they are all ordered properly by the title. And let's say in the end now, actually, I want to reverse this order. Well, that's super easy. I just need to do order.reverse on my ordering. And then now the titles are ordered on the other order. So yeah, pretty quick to do. I could also do something else like, I don't know, group to-dos. So let's group them by a specific property. So let's say I'm going to group them by the completed field. So I will pass my sorted to-dos to it. And then on this, I will say, so here's my to-do, and you're going to look at the completed field. Well, unfortunately, I need to pass to it some strings, otherwise it's not able to group properly, but let's do it quickly. Okay, and then here I have my grouped to-dos. Just with this little line of code, I now have an array, an object with 2 keys, which are not completed. So I have all the not completed to-dos grouped together, and another group, which is completed, that just have my one completed to-do. And you can notice, by the way, that the to-dos are still ordered according to the previous ordering. Yeah, so this was to show you that we are used to go to Lodash for this kind of stuff, but you can do it all with effect. So yeah, I think that's the end of the live coding session. I hope I was able to show you how powerful that is. Obviously, there are still many topics that can be done with effects. So I really invite you again to check out their documentation, because a huge effort was put into this documentation to make it clear, to help you, to guide you, to show you what's possible. So go for it. And finally, I wanted to do a quick shout out to Ethan, which has made a lot of videos on effects, which were actually super useful for me when I was starting to learn it. So if you're interested, I invite you to have a look at his videos, because they are quite amazing. And so, yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. And well, if you have any question, I think now is the time. And I will stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Laure. Amazing session, and honestly, I can't wait to try Effect in my projects. I do have a question for you. How do you see Effect evolving as TypeScript itself continues to grow and change?
True. Well, it's evolving so much already. Like they're already like putting the accent on having a great developer experience. So I guess it's clearly not finished. They are like introducing so many concepts, like even around clustering. So really advanced concept that even like I did not really work with that at all for now. But yeah, no, I'm not sure exactly where they're going, but they continue to improve on what they already did. And yeah, this is what is nice actually with Effect, is that it's really community oriented too. So they have a Discord where anyone can come and ask questions, and there would be always very reactive. I myself contributed to the library actually. I was lacking some methods, so I asked to add them, and in the end they were added to the library. So they really are trying, well, at least in my opinion, to make it a great library for everyone. So yeah, I hope I answered the question, but
Thank you. Amazing.
I have a question. I posted in the chat as well. What challenges do you anticipate for someone who is starting to use Effect, and do you recommend it for someone who is not really used to TypeScript yet, like started out at once?
well, I'd say yes, because it's really meant to be easily, well, it has a cost for sure, but it's meant to make it easy to develop. So their goal is really to help you like have fun coding your programs. So that's a good way to start. There are some pretty advanced concepts. To be honest, I did not really use, I don't know what it's like to start Effect without knowing TypeScript, because I've been using TypeScript for a very long time. So I don't really see myself not using TypeScript now, and not using Effect, to be fair, now. So yeah, I'd say what's nice is that you could start with a little piece of your program using Effect, but obviously you would need to learn TypeScript first, at least, but then Effect quickly becomes a nice tool to use with TypeScript. So both can be like learned together, to me, if that makes sense.
Thank you, it does.
Thank you so much. And we do have one more question. Are there any areas where Effect is looking to expand its integration with other tools and libraries? That's a great question.
Probably. To be fair, I'm not sure. I don't know. I cannot really properly answer this question. Oh, well, nice. So Mirella at the rescue. You have their website is clearly amazing to know what are their plans, what they have done so far. So yeah, I invite you to follow the link from Mirella. Oh, integrating Remix with Effect. Okay. well, so they definitely have a lot of plans.
I have a question for Sergey. Have you ever felt that effect schema was not enough? I'm a fan of Zod validation library, but learning effect, oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, what's interesting in using effect, if you are using effect in the rest of your app, is that it's made to be combined with like the whole rest of the effect ecosystem. So obviously, if you're just using effect schema is nice. Well, I'm pretty used to it, so now I don't really feel like it's not enough. Sometimes it can be a little bit too complete, actually. It's on the other side. But is that really a problem? I don't know. But then if, as we are using effect in the rest of our programs, it's pretty nice to have something directly connected to it. So when I decode a schema, I have an effect already, so I can continue the rest of my program built with effect pretty easily. So yeah, I don't know if it answers your question. I don't know that so much, so maybe that's why I don't really see what you're mentioning. But so far for me, effect schema was clearly good enough. It's meant to be usable easily, so yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've used Zod, and I didn't use effect yet, but from their demonstration, I think if effect it makes it easier, because with Zod, there's a lot of coming back and forth. I think it's a matter of getting used to it as well as with any library. When you use to it, it seems like it's easier and it's more. But yeah, for me, it seemed clearer and easy to understand.
Yeah, right. I showed a pretty simple example actually in this talk. Much more is doable with effect. So this may be where like I did not maybe show properly the power of it because it was a pretty simple example. But you are able to do some pretty complex stuff easily. At least this is what they try to help to do. So yeah, but you can have a look again at the effect documentation, which shows a lot more example for this. So I invite you to do that.
Thank you. It did look pretty scalable. That's why we're looking at those tools for. It's like where it gets complex, it should get easier. Thank you for that. Oh, sorry, my mic was off. I think that's it for the questions. I don't see any more questions in the chat. Mirella is saying, hey everyone, she's a community manager at Effect. If you have more questions, feel free to join the Discord. Mirella, would you like to say something?
Of course. Well, again, thank you very much for organizing this meetup today. And Laure, thank you for accepting. Yeah, this was amazing. And yeah, if you have, I know many of you haven't tried Effect yet. So when you actually get started with it, yeah, please join our Discord. If you have any questions, any, especially beginner questions, we'd love to create more resources and make Effect more accessible to people who are just starting out with the library. So yeah, we really want to know your perspective, and it really helps us a lot making Effect lowering the entry barrier of Effect. The more people ask questions that we have that ask questions in the community. So yeah, please, I really encourage you to try it out and join us on Discord. And yeah, there will always be someone to help you out in our community. And I don't know where you all are based, but we also have a conference in March, which is called Effect Days. Yeah, Laure, this is the second one. Laure was at the first one, and she will also join at the next one in March. So yeah, we'd love to have you there. It's everything on our website. If you have any questions, I'm available for anytime. Just you can reach me out on Discord or on Twitter or LinkedIn. So yeah, I'm really happy that we managed to do this today. And hopefully it's not the only one.
Yeah, definitely we need more effect-based events, and it was amazing session. Thank you, Ward. Thank you, Mirella, for cooperation, and we are looking forward for more events with both of you.
Thank you so much again.
Everyone for joining today. If that's it, we're gonna close the event and see you soon on our next session and on our meeting greet. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Laure. Thank you, Marilla.